The beggar girl said, "Don't eat that." The billionaire wouldn't have listened unless he saw IT for himself. The billionaire, Damien Lockhart, stepped out of his black car in the middle of a crowded street market, the kind of place he rarely visited. His world was one of private jets, quiet boardrooms, and expensive meals. But today he was inspecting land for a new development. People whispered as he walked by. They knew he was rich, powerful, unreachable. And then suddenly, from the corner of the street, a thin, trembling voice echoed, "Don't eat that!" Damien froze. No one ever raised their voice at him. He turned sharply and saw her, a little girl, maybe 10 or 11, wearing torn clothes and holding a cracked bowl. Her hair was messy, her cheeks hollow, and her eyes unusually sharp. She pointed at the food stall where he had just been handed a skewer of grilled meat. The vendor stiffened nervously. The girl took a shaky step forward and repeated, "Please, sir." "Don't eat that." Damien frowned. "And why shouldn't I?" he asked. His voice carried confidence, the kind that intimidated even grown men. The girl swallowed hard. "Because it's spoiled," she whispered. "They mix old meat with new. My mother got sick from here." The vendor immediately shouted at her, calling her a liar and troublemaker. The people around them nodded, choosing silence over truth. Damien smirked. Children lie for attention all the time, he thought. But then he looked closer, at the skewer. A faint smell he hadn't noticed before drifted to him, mixed with heavy spices trying to cover something foul. His stomach tightened. He dropped the skewer to the ground. The vendor panicked. The girl stepped back, unsure if he would scold her or thank her. Instead, Damien asked her name. "Lena," she said quietly. Something about her reminded him of a piece of his own past he tried to forget, days when he too struggled before luck and timing had saved him. He had once been hungry. He had once been ignored. And now this girl had protected him when she had nothing to gain. "Where is your mother?" Damien asked. Lena looked down. "She's sick. I look after her." That sentence hit him harder than he expected. In that moment, Damien decided to follow her. His security team objected, but one glare from him was enough. Lena guided him through a narrow alley behind the market, past broken walls, past children sitting on dirty steps. They reached a small room, barely a shelter, where Lena's mother lay wrapped in a thin blanket, coughing weakly. Damien stood at the doorway, stunned. He had seen poverty on screens, but witnessing it so closely changed something inside him. Lena knelt beside her mother, placing a gentle hand on her forehead. "I told someone today," she whispered. "I tried." Her mother smiled faintly, but her eyes held pain. Damien's heart tightened. He reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. In minutes, a private ambulance arrived. Lena gasped, panicking, thinking they were in trouble. Damien knelt to her level and said softly, "It's all right, I'm helping." The mother was taken to a hospital. Lena held Damien's sleeve the whole time, afraid to lose the only hope she had found. He stayed with her, sitting in the waiting room, something he hadn't done for anyone in years. Hours passed. The doctor came out and explained the situation. Food poisoning, untreated infection, severe malnutrition. She needed immediate care, but she would recover. Lena burst into tears, thanking Damien repeatedly. He placed a hand on her shoulder, feeling an emotion he had long buried, responsibility. Over the next few days, Damien visited them often. He ensured the mother received proper treatment, and he watched over Lena with a growing sense of protectiveness. She opened up slowly, telling him how she begged on streets so they could survive, how people avoided her eyes, how she prayed every night not for food, but for her mother's pain to stop. One evening, as they sat in the hospital room, Damien asked, "What do you want for your future, Lena?" She looked at him with eyes that carried more life than her body. "I want to study. I want to become someone who helps people the way you helped us." Her words sank into him deeply. All the wealth he had accumulated suddenly felt meaningless compared to the sincerity of her dream. Without hesitation, Damien made arrangements for Lena to be enrolled in a good school. He provided a safe home for them and hired helpers so her mother could focus on healing. But this wasn't charity for him, it was redemption. As the months passed, Lena flourished. She arrived at school in new clothes, carrying a backpack filled with books instead of worries. Her mother's health improved. Damien would often visit them after work, finding peace he never found in his mansion. People around the city soon learned about the billionaire who changed a beggar girl's life. But the truth was, she had changed his first. She reminded him of humanity, of compassion, of the simple act that saved him. 3 words spoken by a starving child: "Don't eat that." Years later, Lena stood on a stage wearing a graduation gown. Her mother cried softly in the front row. Damien sat beside her, proud like a father. When Lena received her award for academic excellence, she looked at the audience and said, "I once stopped a stranger from eating spoiled food. I didn't know he was a billionaire. I just didn't want someone else to suffer." That moment changed my life. Kindness does that. It returns to you in the most unexpected ways. The hall erupted in applause, and Damien felt a warmth in his chest he had never known before. He realized that the greatest investment of his life wasn't a company, land, or stocks. It was a little girl who had called out to him on a crowded street, saving him without expecting anything in return. A single act of courage had changed both their lives forever.